Liz Crosby here with a yogic philosophy discussion. I am going to do a whole series of tutorials on each of the inversions. So before I tear into that, I wanted to explain why do we invert in the yoga practice, so that you have this working knowledge, right? Jnana yoga, yoga of the thinking man, to understand these concepts and therefore integrate that and weave it into your practice to connect to divine wisdom. So the inversions are any posture in which the head is below the heart space, and I'm specifically speaking about the weight-bearing inversions, headstand, form, balance, handstand. So the inversions make the upper half of our body the foundation, and wherever the foundation is, energy from our solar plexus power center flows. The power center, solar plexus, his element is fire. Fire purifies the nadis, the tubular channels. And as the ancient sages say, you cannot reactivate new nadis without burning away the impurities first. So what's up top? We have heart chakra, throat chakra, brow chakra, and then just above the head, crown chakra. These are some really fun chakras. And this is why I love the inversions. The inversions will activate these chakras, and these chakras are, even heart chakra is considered to be very sattvic as well as rajasic. So the sattvic gunas are the processing elements. Throat chakra and brow chakra are sound and light respectively. And of course, crown chakra is thought form. So we're starting to get a little bit more mystical, diving into the mystic, but I really want this for everyone. I want everyone to be able to access this part of the practice, because this is when the practice gets so fun and you get so excited about returning to your yoga mat, because as you start to activate the sattvic gunas, the processing elements, then you start to actively participate in multidimensional analysis of self, multidimensional analysis of the karmic debris that you're hauling in by expanding your consciousness and drawing ever more increasingly elaborate, complex, sacred geometric design with your physical body and space, right? The physical body is just the intermediary. So as you move into new space, even if it's just a microscopic expansion of consciousness, that's new information to be gleaned, and you can then begin to deteriorate and disentangle the attachment to Maya, the holographic projected reality that stagnant information is exemplary of. So this is really, really important stuff, and I'm so excited to divulge all things inversions. The main thing is you want to create the strength aspect first to protect the spine. So especially with positions like headstand, where the neck plays a really crucial role in the foundation, you want to be really diligent about making sure you've built the strength first. And then you can begin to add in the flexibility component, which is the feminine aspect. This is so crucial, because if you start to move into super deep inverted back bends before you're able to hold a straight up and down, right? The straight up and down inversions look very phallic. I know it. It's true. They are very erect. And this is why we're androgynous beings energetically, right? Each of us has the masculine and the feminine aspect. And ladies, we're learning how to hold space for ourselves. Men, we're learning how to bend. So that we can balance the masculine and feminine aspects of the nadis, the energetic tubular channels, and therefore unlock the cerebrospinal centers, the chakras. So this is really crucial stuff. We do not just do inversions to get lots of likes on Instagram, contrary to popular belief. Although I am going to just say it. Post about inversions online. I want this to become the new, I don't want to say new normal, but like, this is it. We are here. This is the apocalypse, and the world has flipped upside down, and now it's time for us to flip upside down. So it's the new human that will birth the new earth, and we're giving birth right now. We're all pregnant. We're all pregnant with karmas, and it's time to purge. So the sattvic gunas are our processing centers, and it's kind of like the third eye. I like to call it the karma incinerator. So third eye is considered to be very pitta dosha, which is destructive in nature. Saint Germain calls it the violet flame, and it's where the karmas go to get burned up for the final time before they are resurrected into a higher vibrational frequency formation. Energy is neither created nor destroyed, it just changes form. So I like to think that the karmas actually want to get burned up. They want it bad. They want to come back as that bright, shiny, new, higher vibrational frequency formation. So there is a lot of stagnant energy that needs to be cleared in each of our respective microcosms. And if third eye is down, then we don't have the incinerator up and running. So this is so crucial. It's really interesting. In my own investigation and unearthing process, I've definitely come across a lot of people that have third eye activated and maybe don't do any inversions, and a lot of people that do inversions and maybe don't have third eye activated. And there are many reasons for this. I do believe that people that do a lot of kundalini exercises, a lot of pranayama techniques, and a lot of breath work, meditation for long periods of time, and of course the occasional psychedelics, yes, you can activate third eye. But if your whole central channel isn't lit, a liquid fire tube ride, then maybe you're not able to send the stagnant energy out through crown to resurrect a higher vibrational frequency formation. So there's definitely, even if you have third eye activation, you will benefit from this tutorial series, because it may help you to actually rearrange the gunas so that you're not just witnessing the same thing over and over and over again, right? We don't have to just accept the past lives that we have written in our system, because as we rewrite our arrangement of gunas, we are completely changing our energetic signature and how we interact with our external environment. And so therefore, your past lives and your future lives are going to change. That being said, moving on to the other end of the spectrum, those of us that maybe have more of the fitness practice and we aren't gazing inwards, a couple things. Okay, so even if you are inverting and you're not getting third eye activation, there may be a couple things that are a little bit just slightly off. Maybe you are doing just the straight up and down, or even just a little tiny mini planche in your inversions. We've got to keep the universal laws in mind as we go about this excavation, this unearthing of self. So if we are predominantly masculine, and vice versa, if we're predominantly feminine, then heart chakra is inherently imbalanced. And heart chakra is the intermediary between the lowermost chakras and the uppermost chakras, right? It's number 4 of 7. And so if number 4 is not activated, then we cannot move the kundalini energy up past number 4 and into the sattvic gunas for witnessing and processing. More often than not, it's usually the women love to just write off the inversions and then do major back bends. And so that would be too much feminine, not enough masculine. And it's like a bunch of open pipes, but not enough energy to harness. Like the strength aspect, the harnessing potential is just not there. And so there might be really, really open pipes, but energy just seeps out at number 4. And then on the flip side, there may be the more so masculine embodied slight planche handstand, maybe a little hollow back, but never venturing into scorpion territory. That is definitely too much masculine, not enough feminine aspect of self. And so therefore the masculine overrides the feminine and represses it. And it's not intentional, but that's what's happening on an energetic level. And that is, it can be fixed. And honestly, I have been on both ends of the spectrum, just being completely honest with you guys. As I came into the yoga practice, I had been surfing for 20 years. So I like to joke, dude arms. My arms were really bulbous and massive just from paddling my brains out. And I had a slight hunchback. So I literally didn't think that I would be able to do back bends at all. And I wrote them off. And then in-stepped inversions. So I have the way. I know the way for you dudes to start navigating into the backbending practice. And the way is through inversions, honestly. You want to heat up and temper the shoulder girdle before you start to rearrange. And then when you have the heat, it's like you can melt into new space and then gently reconstruct all that musculature. It's not going to go away. You'll still be able to use that strength. And so I can attribute that to the gargantuan amount of energy conduction that just started flowing through number 4. As soon as I started to unlock the heart chakra, the strength was already there to harness, and I just opened up the pipes and just like poof, straight shot straight through to the sattvic gunas, and started to get third eye activation right away. On the flip side, I did end up on the flip side, and so I can empathize with the ladies, the yoginis, that are lacking in the masculine aspect in heart chakra. I started to get stigmatized in the yoga community for my inversion practice, and I let it get to me. I did. I honestly let it get to me. And so I held off on my inversion practice because I was tired of people judging me, and I focused on backbends. And it was honestly really frustrating, extremely frustrating, because although I did not, having too much feminine can actually be a very vulnerable place to be, because you don't have the strength to support. And so a lot of the spaces, tissues can get easily compressed by different postures, and especially in the back bends, the spongy intervertebral discs can get compressed. And if you are choosing to invert and do inverted back bends without the strength to support, then lots of things can happen, right, with the shoulders and with the ribs and whatnot. So thankfully, I didn't sustain an injury, but man, again, the energy just seeps out in heart chakra, and people come in and pull that energy off of you. So this is really crucial, especially for you empaths, and any of you empaths that feel like you keep attracting people that are pulling energy off of you. This is how you can control your energy conduction and then shield it, so that it's like you're creating this sheath of infrastructure to therefore then be able to send that energy straight up through heart chakra into the sattvic gunas. So that, and then what's great too is you will also find better, you might already have third activation, but you might find even more clarity with your visions, and you'll be able to tune in to your intuition much better too. So there's this funny meme too that I've seen going around. I wish that I could see a preview of people before I got to know them and I invested heavily in them, something to that effect. Yeah, you kind of get that, and it's great. So I was kind of frustrated that it took me so long to come back around to doing my inversion, my masculine creation. But I am still so grateful that I had that metaphysical lapse, although it was probably the most frustrating part of my life up until now, because I knew better and I was still staying small to try and keep the people in my community happy and to no longer be judged. But it was like they were going to judge anyways. It's just the way that it is. That being said too, if you do embark on this investigation of self, I would like to warn you that people are going to be jealous, because this is kundalini energy that you're learning how to conduct. You're turning yourself into a megawatt light bulb that can withstand a really, really significant charge of energy conduction. And so it's kind of like the poppy syndrome. As you start to conduct more energy, people are going to try and tear you down a little bit. But I'm just letting you know right off that that's going to happen. And don't let yourself be deterred. Don't let yourself be distracted. It's very much like the Matrix, right? The Agent Smiths are going to come after you. And what I'm telling you is you can skip dodging bullets, and you won't have to when you see where they're coming from. Their distortions, the stagnant energy is puppeteering them. They don't want to clear their karmic debris quite yet. We're all in this together, but all of us are on different timetables. So if you're listening to this, you're ready to start doing this work, but don't let people that aren't ready deter you from doing this work. Again, because that was probably the most frustrating part of my experience in this whole ascension process thus far, was trying to stay small and help other people come up to my level. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Even Abraham Hicks says don't do it. Stay on your high flying disc, right? So don't, and it's metaphysically proven that you cannot go down to their vibration. You can't, even if you tried, right? Even if you're holding your own space, like each of us has our very own unique arrangement of gunas and our very own unique arrangement of limiting thought forms that we're disentangling ourselves from. So you cannot perfectly resonate with the same frequency as them. And then even by trying to do that, you're going to lower your frequency, and then you're both in a lower vibrational frequency state. So just stay focused on ascending and rising your vibrational frequency. And the inversions are challenging, I'll be completely honest, and it is a mental exercise just as much as it is a physical exercise. So it does feel very much like you're putting together a jigsaw puzzle inside your own body, or you're kind of playing this exquisite game of chess with your muscles and your bones, and learning how to perfectly align and which muscles to engage and disengage to allow the energy to flow with congruency through your spine. But it is well worth it. And I am beginning to realize that certain karmas that I thought I had cleared, they're still there. They're still in my field because they want me to understand them on a much deeper level. And so this is also why I think even if you don't have a super diligent practice, inversions might actually be a good place to start, because once you find that energy conduction streamlining through your central axis, then you can process your karmic debris with third eye, and the karmas, they will not release, they will not surrender unless they're fully witnessed and processed. And so you might as well begin this process of learning how to conduct energy through your spine, through your central axis, to begin to activate third eye so that you can actually see and fully process the stagnant energy in order to release it. And what's so fun too is I actually have gotten kind of used to all of my karmas, and I'm starting to really appreciate them, and they slowly are unveiling, revealing themselves to me, the various intricacies that are involved with not holding space and not being aware of that space that I'm not holding. So I don't want to get too into this, because I want to definitely tease out the very subtle aspects of the inversions and the inner technology. But to put it briefly, now I'm able to process my karmic debris through time travel and remote viewing. I can go up to the Akashic records, and I can come back as multiple perspectives, and I can feel into different mind-body matrices and understand why people behave the way that they do. So I understand how the kundalini energy deviates in various vessels and how that creates their behavioral patterns. And so it's not necessarily forgiveness in the way that we have come to know it, but more so, I like to call it metaphysical forgiveness, because you can understand how their energetic signature really, there was predetermination involved, right? They were going to act out in that way, and that's just the way that they were going to act out because of the universal laws, and we all are operating on the same system. Universal laws are constants. So it's much better to learn how to abide by the universal laws instead of to fight against them. And so what's really magnificent about the sattvic gunas and their resurgence, their resurfacing, and our ability to connect to them is, even as you do all of the past life regression, and then you can also go into future lives and see what your future lives would be like if you held on to those distortions, and also vice versa. Again, as you're changing your vibrational frequency, everything's happening right now. So again, you can see how your past lives and your future lives will be different when you release the distortion, the illusion of separateness, the stagnant energy that's causing the kundalini energy to deviate from the central axis, essentially. And that is how I am learning even every day, because I'm getting better at it every day, how to let go of these illusions of separateness and release them for good, so that my mind isn't constantly holding on to it. Yoga teaches vritas nirodha. Yoga is the slowing of the turnings of the mind. And again, you can keep going deeper. There's so much fun to be had with this multidimensional analysis of self. So I also like to go in and feel as all of my ancestors, and to feel into the mind body matrices of all of the beings that my ancestors came into contact with as the same self, right? Atonement at one-ment. So we are atoning for all of human history, and there is no separation. So even those more egregious figures throughout human history, I like to feel into oneness with them too, and understand how their kundalini energy was deviating and how that affected their behavioral patterns and their actions in their lifetimes as them. So there is no separation, and again, metaphysically forgiving myself for actually being them. I think you know of which characters I'm referring to. Some present day characters too, why not? Oh my goodness. So again, nonetheless, the inversions are really, really fun, and I have to commend all of you for listening this long, because even just receiving this energy download, it being more so the Yana yoga of the thinking man, and understanding why it is that we do the things that we do in the yoga practice, is a potent download, and you are growing even from receiving this information. And of course, as you start to evolve and learn how to hold space in your inversion practice, thank you on behalf of all beings, because you are running more energy through your own microcosm, and we are all energetically connected. As you learn how to conduct more energy through your own field of consciousness, it affects our macrocosmic field, our shared holographic reality. And I just have to say thank you. Thank you so much, because we are ascending up and out of this prison planet. The world has flipped upside down seemingly, but we ourselves are going to flip upside down. We're going to give birth to the new human, and therefore the new earth. So it's happening, guys. It really truly is, and there's nothing that can stop it. The light has already won, and we are on our way. Thank you on behalf of the collective consciousness. And I think this is probably a potent enough philosophical discussion download, but we'll be back. I'll be back, and I'll be dishing up some more philosophical downloads, because the Sagittarius Gemini axis is here. We have so many eclipses on this axis too. I'm really excited. So all right, hope you have a lovely day, and namaste. Peace.